Welcome to Country Carnivore. Today we're making cheese blintzes. It's going to consist of 3 different recipes. So the first one will be heavy whipping cream, which would just be whipped cream. And then we're going to make crepes, and then we're going to make the filling for the blintzes. So I'm going to give you 3 different things. I've actually been wanting to make this video for a long time, but I kept destroying the crepes, and I finally figured out the trick. So I'm happy to share that with you. The other thing is, my husband and I went in town this morning. We had a lot of errands to run to get ready for deer season. And so I'm off to a late start, and I just want to get this video out and I want to eat. So no hair and makeup today, just me, natural, and please be kind. Anyway, so let's start off. We're going to make the first thing, which will be the whipped cream. And what you're going to need for that is a cup of heavy whipping cream and a teaspoon of vanilla. I don't put any sugar in it or fake sugars. And the reason I'm doing that first is I want to go ahead and get this chilled and in my refrigerator, right, while everything else is cooking. So 1 cup of the heavy cream. Now I have as you can see, a whipped cream dispenser. If you don't, that's fine. You just need to put these ingredients in a bowl and use a blender and blend it until it's thick, right? And then you'll just be dolloping it on the side of your blintzes. So again, teaspoon of vanilla. And we're going to use this vanilla again. I hope that was vanilla, not lemon. Yep, vanilla. We're going to use that vanilla again, so I'll set it to the side. So now I'm ready to go ahead and activate this thing. There we go, ready to go. I'm just going to give this a quick shake, put it in the fridge, and let it chill. The next thing we're going to make is the crepes. So for that, you're going to need 8 ounces of cream cheese softened. So I took this out this morning when I got up. I knew we were running into town, and I just wanted it nice and soft by the time I got back to make the video. So 8 ounces of cream cheese softened, 8 ounces of eggs, which is 4 eggs. So I've got those ready to go. And then you're going to want unsalted butter. I mean, it's not the end of the world if it's salted, but unsalted butter for the pan. So let me talk to you about the pan. So you want a pan, that doesn't have like a hard angle here, because it'll just help with managing the crepe. So you want that. And I don't know what size this is, but this size. And then you're going to want a sheet to just throw in the oven, because you can only make 1 crepe at a time. So as you're making them, you'll just be throwing them in there. You can keep the oven warm if you want to. You really don't have to, because at the very end, those crepes are going back in the pan and they will be warmed again in the pan. So you just want to set them aside. All right. I just want a knife so I can kind of chop, rough cut it as I'm putting it in the bowl. And then the 4 eggs. And then we're going to blend it. The other thing I want to say about the crepe recipe, this is not my recipe. I don't know whose it is. I've heard it so many times. And I would like to give whomever created it credit, but I don't know who to credit. So I will try to do one last AI search and see if they can figure out who the first one is to post this. They, AI, whatever. And then I'll put it in the show notes, but not my recipe for the crepes. Whoever did it is brilliant. I would love to give them credit. If one of you guys knows, let me know. But it's not obvious to me who started this. So there's that. All right. I'm going to crack some eggs and pop them in here. I'll be back. All right. So I've got a frog in my throat. I've got cream cheese in here, and I've got my 4 eggs, and I'm just going to use an immersion blender. Whatever device you want to use, your hands is fine. I'm going to go ahead and blend these together nice and fine. Okay, so the ingredients are mixed together. I'm going to go ahead and melt just a little bit of butter just to coat the bottom of the pan. I'm going to put the pan on like a medium-low heat. And then 1/3 cup at a time, I'm just going to, put this in the pan, kind of swirl it around to get it nice and even, and let it cook. And I'll show you a video of how you need to flip it once it's cooked on one side and what it looks like, all that good stuff. My first crepe is on the stove. So while that is cooking, let's go ahead and do the next part. So the next part you're going to need, and this is for the filling, you'll need 4 ounces. Here, let's show you this. 4 ounces of cream cheese, again softened. I've already got it in my bowl. You're going to need a container or 1.5 cups of ricotta cheese, and then you will need 1 egg yolk. There's a little egg yolk in there. There you go. See, 1 egg yolk. I am sweetening this. I've done it without the sweetener and I like it. My husband likes it a little bit sweeter, so I'm accommodating him today. So for the sweetener today, I'm using 1 tablespoon of stevia. That said, most blintz, or this blintz recipe, if you were to use sugar, would be 1/4 cup. And I'm telling you that so that if you want to put some other sweetener in there, you know, they have those conversion charts. Start with 1/4 cup of sugar and then adjust. So with 1/4 cup of sugar, I should actually have more stevia in here, but I don't like it that sweet. So I'm just using a tablespoon of stevia. It's a lot of talk about fake sugars. Anyway, also I know we're now diverging from carnivore a little bit. But I think you guys have figured out by now, I'm not totally strict. So I'll get over it. All right. What are we doing now? Stevia, yolk, vanilla. And I want a teaspoon of vanilla. I also like, sometimes I'll do this with cinnamon. Sometimes I'll do a little bit of lemon. And today I'm feeling lemony. So I'm going to go ahead and put just a teaspoon of lemon as well. Lemon extract, not just straight lemon. You could use lemon zest. We go ahead and have a little bit of lemon in our diet, and it seems fine. All right, so now I'm just going to, by hand, mix all these ingredients together. And again, this will be the filling. And let's go check on that crepe. All right, it's time to flip this crepe. So here's the part I wanted to talk to you about. I have tried not every method, but I've tried bad methods. So one of the bad methods I tried was trying to flip this in the pan with a spatula. Then I tried to flip it in the pan with a bigger spatula. Then I tried to do one of those actions where you like flip it with the pan. Sometimes that works. I'm not that great at that. But I have found if you just slide it onto a plate, remember these are really thin, and then pop it back into the pan, works a lot better. There's my tip. Another side note, if you're just starting out with crepes, they're paper thin, they're hard to manage. So I said 1/3 cup. You could do 1/3 and a little bit more just to make them a little bit thicker. You'll still be able to work with them, but it will be easier for you to manage them as you're cooking them. Later on, we're going to fold them up almost like a burrito. So they'll still fold, but like I said, it'll just make it easier to manage. You don't want to go so thick that it's like a pancake where it's going to break when you're folding it. But like I said, first time out, maybe give yourself a break and do a little bit thicker. Very thin can be friable and it just breaks apart if you're not really careful. If you just want to get food in your mouth, maybe a little thicker. That's it. All right, we're ready to go ahead and make the blintzes. So the crepe is done. Here's an example. Now what you're going to want to do is take about 3 tablespoons. I mean, if you want to measure it, I'm just going to eyeball this. About 3 tablespoons of the mixture. And you're going to put it about, I don't know, an inch away from one edge. I'm doing a little bit more than an inch, but I'll show you when I'm done. Usually there's an ugly edge, so I try to get the mixture close to the ugly edge. So here we go. It's about an inch from the ugly edge and then an inch from either side. So what I'm going to do now is fold the ugly edge over the filling. It just totally broke and ran out. Probably because I kept saying ugly. Okay, then you're going to fold the sides in, again, about an inch. There we go. And now I need a spatula because it broke. I'm going to continue to roll this together. Like I said, it's like a burrito. Holy cow, this is a huge mess. Oh, y'all, this is a huge mess. All right. It's not going to be pretty, but it's going to taste good. Okay, so now, once you've done your roll, I've got, again, my pan is on low. I've got butter melting in there. Let me just give it a swirl. And now I'm going to put this beautiful blintz into that pan and fry it up on both sides, and it'll kind of congeal together. Now, the other thing you can do is you actually can throw these in the freezer for about 10 minutes and then put them on the pan, and that'll help them kind of hold together as you're cooking them. But it's late and I want to eat, so I'm just going to do it. So. All right, let's talk about plating this. Now you're going to get out your whipped cream, and I'm spraying it on here, but you can of course dollop it. And I just like to put it off to the side so that while you're eating it, you can just dip into the whipped cream as you like. And there it is. Hope you guys like it. Bye.